Odyssey Sims, 31 years old, back in a building that used to be hers, checked in and refused to wait for permission. A pick and roll into a push shot, a burst in transition, a logo 3 that cut through the noise and the doubt. When the pace needed gas, she pressed it. When the clock needed air, she took it out of the game. 21 points by the end, but the number wasn't the story. Timing was. She kept showing up exactly where the moment asked. "I didn't lose confidence," she said. "If you stay ready, you don't have to get ready." That's not a slogan for her. It's a résumé. Still, the center of gravity never moved from the paint. Aaliyah Boston set up camp on the block and made the floor tilt. 22 points, 11 rebounds, 4 assists, and a career best. 6 steals. The box score proof of a night spent reading everything before it happened. She mixed power with patience, that extra dribble to put a shot blocker under the rim, the soft jump hook that landed on the back iron and fell like it knew the script. When doubles came, her eyes were already elsewhere. High-low, kickout, reset, repeat. Around them, the game gathered grit. Lexi Hull, 2 black eyes, the aftershock of last game's head-to-head collision with Gabby Williams, didn't blink. She chased over screens, went shoulder first into contact, hit a corner, 3 when the defense sagged, and treated 50 balls like they were hers by title. Natasha Howard spun past help for vital buckets. Kelsey Mitchell, short of her usual flamethrower night, still drew gravity and hit just enough in the margins to stretch the seams Sims kept slicing. The Fever had talked all season about who they were without guarantees. "A season's not going to be perfect," Boston said. "If something happens, next woman up." In LA, that wasn't a phrase. It was the floor. By the fourth quarter, the emotions narrowed to possessions. Los Angeles pressed and clawed, the kind of elastic run that collapses teams with thin edges. Indiana didn't crack. They hunted stops, widened the rebounding gap, and kept the turnovers manageable. And when it mattered most, the ball found the veteran who had been shouldering stretches all night. Sims rose into a rhythm 3 to tie it. Later, with 13.6 seconds left, a game breathing through a straw, she slid into the lane and floated a runner over outstretched hands. Clean. The building dipped. She backpedaled in silence, the kind of quiet that only exists when a player knows the work met the moment. What happened next explained everything about why Indiana believes itself right now. The Sparks had one more shot at chaos. Hand-off action. A screen. A bobble. A desperate hot potato. And then a white jersey stepped into the frame like a closing door. She hands it off to Jackson. Lost the handle. To Plum. Throws it up for grabs. Grabbed by Boston out of the sky, the call went. Indiana burning a timeout as she clutched the ball to her chest. No foul required. No debate. A star ended the argument with her hands. That single play mirrored her stat line. Scoring when it had to happen. Cleaning glass when it couldn't. Stealing possessions when the margins would decide everything. But the piece that echoed after the buzzer wasn't a number. It was a sentence. "What I love the most about this squad," Boston said, "is that we instill confidence. The coaches instill confidence that any shots you take, shoot with confidence, 'cause we trust you, and we trust that you're going to make it. And I feel like that's really helped us down the line. We're all just really happy for each other." Strip away the noise, and that's the blueprint that carried Indiana through their most important win of the year. Confidence as a team sport, trust as a habit. A rotation that, on paper, is missing pieces, and on the floor keeps finding answers. White called it out plainly. They've brought in women who care about winning, who care about one another, who sacrifice every day. You could see it in who took the shot, who crashed the glass, who sprinted back on a busted play so a steal by committee could happen at all. This wasn't about style points. It was about possession value, second chances, free throws. The Fever made more at the line than the Sparks attempted. They turned deflections into runouts into points that felt larger than the scoreboard allowed. "Sense of urgency," White said. "Through some gray area. The best teams learn to breathe there." There was also the unignorable shadow at the edge of the night, the star inching back. Clark has been gone for weeks, the groin strain that won't be bullied by hope. But she's back in practice gear now, back in walkthroughs, edging toward contact. With 5 games left, every timeline becomes a calculus of risk and necessity. White's bar is firm: live practice, contact, endurance under fatigue, and no One inside that room wants the short-term pop if it risks the long-term cost. Still, the weight shifts when she's even on the floor pregame. Teammates glance over, fans hum. A team built to sprint suddenly sees the runway again. The point is not that Indiana needs her to be whole, that's obvious. The point is that they just proved they can harden the edges while they wait. They didn't survive in Los Angeles. They imposed. They beat a team that had kept them under its thumb. On the road, without half their guards, and without their pace setter. That changes a locker room. It changes the film the next opponent watches. It changes how much space Boston gets on the left block, and how much respect Sims gets when she drags a big into the middle of the floor. And it changes the math when Clark returns. Her threes stretch the shell. Her pace bends help. Her vision turns Boston's seals into layups and Mitchell's cuts into rhythm. Layer that onto a group that's already defending, rebounding, and trusting, and suddenly the question isn't whether Indiana can hang on. It's whether they can make noise once they're in. When the cameras found Boston at the end, she wore the result lightly. 2 black eyes across from Lexi's bruised face, a bruised team playing with clear eyes. "Next woman up," she repeated. That mantra has weight now because it's been earned possession by possession. Sims's runner with 13.6 left. Boston's two-way avalanche. Hull's willingness to play through and on. The trust to keep shooting. The composure to keep guarding. The choice to meet the season with the kind of stubbornness that refuses a narrative. The standings will move again in a week. The West Coast air doesn't carry promises. But there are wins that feel like inflection points, and this was one. The Fever didn't discover a new identity in Los Angeles. They practiced the one they've been repeating since October and proved it holds under pressure. Big picture. It reads like this. They can fight when it's ugly. They can finish when it's loud. They can steal when a game tries to slip away. And with their best knife close to coming back, they can still cut. What told you the most? Sims' calm at the end, Boston's all-court command, or the way a bruised roster kept choosing the hard thing together? If you're pumped up for the team, drop Big Fever win in the comments. Like, subscribe, and turn on all notifications so you never miss what's next.